When it comes to my ZBCN holdings, I feel like in my portfolio, it should never dip below 1 million ZBCN. Again, I'm not saying $1 million, by the way. I'm just saying, again, a million ZBCN. Now, you may be thinking, okay, why? Even though nothing I say is financial advice, the reason being is because I hypothetically see it going to the price of 10 cents during this board. And again, if we do some simple math, a million ZBCN times 10 cents, that would mean hypothetically at that point, it would be worth $100,000, which is why, again, my ZBCN holdings in my portfolio should never dip below a million, in my opinion. Now, people may be thinking, okay, that's a bad idea because it's a bad project. Well, I disagree. Take a look at, for instance, the Zebec Network. It's kind of piggybacking off the hype of Ripple, aka XRP, and Stellar, aka XLM. Not such a bad move. It's actually genius, in my opinion. Take a look at Pepe. Pepe experienced a lot of success just because of the fact that it piggybacked off, the hype of Shiba Inu and Dogecoin. Nothing wrong with that. I think if there is a proven formula that works, if it's something that is functioning properly, has a lot of fans, a good community, what's so wrong about, let's say another project kind of being focused on those same markets, but then kind of repackaged in a different way? Nothing wrong with that. It's like, for instance, is there only one brand out there manufacturing laptops? No, I mean, there's a bunch, right? But then it's a proven formula. People like laptops, they like the portability, they like the ease of use. That's why we see a lot of them. Nothing wrong with it. Like, for instance, is anyone complaining that Dell has a laptop, but then Apple also has a laptop? No, no one cares, right? So I don't get why people complain here when they say, "Oh, Zebec, it's kind of like copying, Ripple and Stellar." Well, who cares? But I think that when it comes to Zebec, though, what makes it even more special is the fact that it really does add its own unique quote unquote sauce, if that makes sense. The fact that the Zebec network is a decentralized infrastructure network for real world value flows. Now, real world value flows, people may be thinking, okay, that's kind of weird, but here's the thing. If we take a look at RWA payments, that's something that Zebec is focused on, primarily speaking. RWA stands for real world asset. And for instance, RWA tokenization, or let's say we take a look at RWA tokens, these are digital representation of physical assets on the blockchain. Again, if we have something that is physical, right? A physical asset, and there can be a digital representation of that on the blockchain, that's a thumbs up for me. Because let's say I own a skyscraper or something like that, and I want to have a digital representation of that on the blockchain. Couldn't that be a good move, in my opinion? Maybe, right? Because let's say people can buy a part of it. Imagine they can do that through a decentralized manner in a way that's easier without having to go through, multiple brokers or a bunch of, random stuff, right? Couldn't that be a game changer? Now, I would argue that stuff like this is still kind of the beginning phases. It hasn't been polished out yet. There's still a lot to be, still seen or heard of, I think, when it comes to this. There's still a lot to tell, but at least it could be something special in the future. Now, Zebec isn't the only project out there that's doing this. It's not like it's revolutionizing the space by any means. But the way I view it is that if it's a market that's proven to have a lot of people believe in it, what's wrong with Zebec being focused on something like that, right? Now, we take a look at why Zebec is in this unique position because its competitors, I would say, as of right now, is XPR. We take a look at Ondo to a certain extent, and also something like, for instance, you know, XCN and as well as XDC. It's not competing really against XRP or XLM, in my opinion, because they're going to be the two giants out there. They're the Robin and the Batman. There's no replacing that. But there could be other members. It's like the Avengers members, you know what I mean? If we take a look at the Avengers movie, there's some members there. This could have a place, let's say, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever the case may be. It could do that. Maybe it has the opportunity. It's not proven, but I don't see why not. ZBCN is listed in a bunch of major exchanges. It's not the best, though. Could be better, right? However, it's good enough, in my opinion. Now, we also take a look at, for instance, the community is very rock solid. It's A plus. So I think this has the makings of something that could be very special, but only time will tell. It kind of reminds me of like a miniature version of like an XLM or XRP. It's never going to defeat them, by the way. I'm just going to make that clear. But then it just kind of gives me that vibe, if that makes sense. Now, people may be thinking, okay, take a look at the price of ZBC and all this type of stuff. Well, here's the thing. A bunch of other altcoins out there, they're not doing the best either. It's a pullback, whatever. It is what it is. But what am I going to still continue to do? I'm going to still continue to dollar cost average. Anytime I earn income, acquire, hold, and I just wait. Literally, that's it. I don't need to be focused on whatever happens to the price every 5 minutes, 5 days, 10 days. It's like, who really cares about that, really? even if ZBCN were to do like a 5x tomorrow, I still wouldn't sell. I wouldn't do that because I still do believe that the journey is still very far. Keep in mind, ZBCN at the price of 10 cents. At that point, considering current circulating supply, market cap would be around $7.5 billion. I mean, just imagine that. That's really peanuts. XRP, as of right now, has a market cap that is well beyond $100 billion, even, right? Even still, I should say, despite the altcoin space not necessarily being that poppin' as of right now because of the pullback. But even besides that, I don't think this is too much to ask for. Now, 10 cents is around a 57x from here, so it's very impressive in my opinion. I think this is very amazing theoretically. I think actually anything over 10x is very impressive for me, but even besides that, when I take a look at something like ZBCN, I think it's going to be a big narrative because the payments market is currently valued at over $2 trillion. Dollars. The global trade and finance market is predicted to reach up to $5 trillion dollars in value by 2028. So I think that this forum could be amazing for ZBCN at least, because again, as a lot of the hype for XRP and XLM begins to trickle down to other projects within this space, ZBCN I think could be one of those. And when it comes to this bull run, it's just a waiting game, really. It's a game of patience. There's no exactly telling as to when things are going to peak, but I do want to believe in this space because I made it this far to quit. It doesn't make sense for me to give up as of right now. It just makes no sense again. What I want to do is just wait it out because usually altcoins is a worst case scenario. They usually peak around a year and a half after a Bitcoin halving event, which would actually mean around October this year, based on the last Bitcoin halving event that happened last year around April. So the way I view it is that even though this isn't a surefire date, I'm going to take a look at this. I'm going to pay attention and I'm going to still acquire because imagine once May, June, July rolls around. This could be a totally different story. As Bitcoin reaches 150,000, 200,000, I really don't see why not. Take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, the number of institutional investors, the amount of enterprise adoption. I just don't think that this board is going to be bad. A lot of people like to tell me, oh, yeah, man, we're only going to, you know, believe in ZBCN when it's doing well. Well, here's the thing. Sometimes people out there, at least from what I've seen, at least some of my friends, right? They're stuck under this vicious cycle in a sense that they keep panic buying when things are pumping, but then they keep panic selling when things are dumping. So where's the longevity in that? I just don't get it. So they're buying when things are expensive and then selling when things are cheap? Makes no sense. So then again, how's the longevity in that? The way I take a look at it is that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. I'm not saying that near the end of 2025 is really that long anyways, but it seems like a long time for quite a lot of people I've seen. So that's why I say that. But even besides that, the journey is still far, right? We haven't experienced March yet, April, May, June, July, August. So why would I quit right now? Makes no sense. I'm still going to believe in this. And again, ZBCN at the price of 10 cents wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And my portfolio, it needs to have a minimum of at least a million ZBCN at all times. Again, not $1 million. Again, a million ZBCN. But that's just the way I view it because I'm very bullish on the Zebec Network. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's Believe the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm a peace. Bye.